All right, so welcome to the King Christian Queen Linda podcast. Today we're excited to have Chris Peck, who is the co-founder of Remedy CBD products. And I met you reached out to me, and it was right when COVID had started. I think we had a conversation.
Yep, that's right. Thanks for having me. I think I saw you on the local journals or papers, and we're reaching out as a grassroots effort to folks like yourself. So
I remember 2019, I think you said something like, we just launched our company and then a pandemic hits. So
yeah.
So that was an interesting conversation, but I want to just have you tell our listeners, about yourself, how you started in insurance and then made an about face, and now you're in the CBD business.
Yeah, great. I made quite the pivot a few years ago. So I guess I'll back up to what led me down this path was an injury, like a lot of people that find themselves using or exploring cannabis for its plant-based benefits. But I was 43 at the time, so it was 5 years ago. My company was merging with a bunch of other companies in a private equity backed deal. So there was a lot going on the business front. My wife and I just purchased a house and going through a rebuild. So if anybody has gone through a big renovation project, you know what kind of stress that can take. So between business and the house, and then unfortunately my dad's health went downhill somewhat quickly during that same time, and he passed away in 2017. So the end of 2017, I had a merged business, a house that we're rebuilding, and then my dad passed away. And I think keeping up with 2 teenage boys and still trying to do everything that I love to do, from playing basketball in the driveway to golfing to surfing to just being very active, my body said, time out, you're not in your mid-20s anymore, you're approaching your mid-40s. And the L4, L5 herniated disc came about, and just made me hit the pause button at that time. And during that time, I met my current business partner, Tom Kurz, at a dinner party, and just you start talking about life and interests. And what I came to realize as I hurt my back and tried a lot of products in the marketplace, from packaging to taste to the experience of using it to the efficacy of some of the products, I just thought there was a huge opportunity to build a brand that spoke to people like myself and my friends and family. So we got the brainstorming about what would building a brand look like, what do we want to be, and it really comes down to just want to be the singular name in plant-based performance and recovery. And you can take plant-based and be more specific with hemp and be hemp-based, but we do not touch the marijuana plant. So It's all hemp-based performance and recovery, and that's what Remedy is all about.
Awesome. So now tell us a little bit the difference versus when you talk about plant-based, it's all hemp-based. Like what is that to the listener? What does that mean?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and one definitely worth clarifying. So I always say, you've got your cannabis family of plants, up here, and then you got the marijuana plant and the hemp plant that are cousins.
Okay.
So you can make CBD products from the marijuana plant, but mostly the marijuana plant's used to extract THC, which has psychoactive effects, where people, take it to, for that reason. So the CBD that's extracted from the hemp plant can have up to 0.3% THC, so very small trace amounts, which is called full spectrum CBD.
Okay.
And some people want that little bit of trace amounts, and they believe in the entourage effect, and there's some good studies out there. But for people that are very concerned about having any trace amounts of THC, they don't want to show up to work and fail a test. Athletes don't want to take it and blow a test. So we go through another filtering process from the hemp plant, full spectrum, filter out that trace amount of THC. You still have the 100+ cannabinoids in there that are good for you. and you can 0.0 THC makes people feel safer. So that's called broad spectrum, not full spectrum CBD.
Okay.
So all our stuff is made with broad spectrum, and combined with other superfood ingredients to create the products that we have.
Okay.
Gotcha. So with that small amount of THC, is, if someone were worried about, let's say, doing a blood test, if they were to use the products every day and they use a lot of it, right? Could there be a certain amount that they could build up in their system that would eventually show up on a test, or it's just such a small amount that you don't have to worry at all?
Yeah, it's a good question. I've yet to hear of anyone using full spectrum and blowing a test, never mind broad spectrum. So I can't sit here and guarantee that no one's going to fail a test, but the likelihood, I mean, they're just not likely to fail a test using broad spectrum. If you're taking full spectrum and taking enough, again, you start low, like you say, start low and slow and low dosage, spread it out. And you really shouldn't have any issues at all. But if you are really overdoing it, especially with the full spectrum, with the trace amounts, yeah, you could potentially, fail a test. So that's why we want to make people feel very comfortable with our products and use the broad spectrum.
So tell us how you came to find the plant-based products that you use to make Remedy, and like how you discovered it, and then how you use it yourself to treat. You said L4, L5. Like, I know I'm familiar with your products, so I know the products you have, and we'll have you tell everybody what you offer, but I'm curious, like, how you use it to make yourself, to heal yourself, feel better.
Yep. So, I guess I'm the best guinea pig for Remedy products, because I am so active and I, push myself, and then things, don't always respond well. But I was trying, so I kind of went very holistic 5 years ago, and there wasn't a lot that didn't work, but it was like, all right, to what level does something work, and what does it take in terms of time and money to get it right? So, I avoided surgery on the back, which was great. It was slightly herniated, but still, something pushes on your nerve. You got the sciatic pain down to your toe. You wince when you put on a sock or get into a car. You can't sit for more than 20 minutes. So I was fairly uncomfortable just trying to get through the day. So I tried acupuncture and cryotherapy and all different products out there, as far as sublingual tinctures under your tongue, roll-ons or topical creams, gel caps, gummies, even vape pens that are CBD. And after trying the landscape of what was out there, I did feel that, I clearly remember my one friend, I won't say the name of the company because I didn't enjoy the taste of it. I don't want to, say anything negative, but it really didn't taste that good. The tinctures under your tongue. He's like, and he warned me, he's like, it's not going to taste great, but it's better than popping ibuprofen all day long every day for months, right? No one wants to do that. And that was the real impetus for trying to find something that is more natural based solution to help keep the pain at bay. And I felt like I was on it and off it and on it enough where I was able to gauge and become self-aware of the efficacy of it. And even though it tasted terrible, but I did it on a regular basis. And I was like, all right, I'm sold. This helps me. It's preventing me from popping, Advil or ibuprofen all day long. So what dawned on me was, all right, there's got to be something better out there, from just taste, packaging, branding. And that's kind of what led me down the road. And it's hard sometimes when you're in that state of pain, and you probably have a lot of clients like this where, you'll just grab, like if you're in a shopping, a grocery store, you're just going to grab a whole bunch of stuff and try it. Well, I was trying acupuncture and cryotherapy and massages and ice and the CBD. So you might say, okay, how do you really know what worked?
Right.
But you do try to isolate and come off one thing, try it again without trying something else. So I did a lot of different things, and I became very self-aware during that time.
Interesting. So I'm curious. Now I saw that your motto is YOLO, right? You only live once. So now, are you still involved in the insurance industry?
I am not, no.
Okay. So was going to the CBD industry a YOLO move for you? Were you like, I could stay safe and kind of continue what I'm doing? This might be a big risk because, you're starting a business. You're not sure how it's going to go. How did that all pan out?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic just because I had every ability to continue in that world. But I just, when you don't have as much passion, you find passion someplace else. I'm like, I helped build up an agency. We merged. I actually launched our national cannabis practice for Alera Group. So Alera Group is what the bigger group, was established as. So it was a brand new national company. We pulled it off. We launched. It's very successful today. But I had the ability to exit without penalty, and because it was private equity backed, they recapped last year, and it gave me the ability to exit without leaving anyone high and dry or getting penalized on my equity or whatever. So I got paid out from that, which allowed me a little breathing room to try something like this, because God forbid if it didn't work out, could I still pay my bills? So it gave me some breathing room. But I was all in, from when we formed the LLC, me and Tom, when we formed Remedy Products in 2019, he was running things day to day. I was still doing Alera, and as time went on, I'm like, you know what? I really want to spend more time building Remedy. I'm a bigger owner percentage-wise of this. It's my new baby, right? And YOLO, you only live once. How many times do you get to build something that you're terribly passionate about, where you have some control and influence as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
and I think it's a great inspiration for a lot of the people that are listening, because there's a lot of people who are in careers they've been in for decades, and there might be a bunch of zeros in the bank, and that's nice, but they're like, I'd really love to do that, but I'm not sure. And seeing that you jumped in head first and things are going well, shows other people that it's possible. It's all about creating a team, having a strategy, and just going in head first.
And we've talked a lot about that on some of our past podcasts too, about, if you're in a career that you're not so excited about anymore, or even if you are, but you've always wanted to do this. Like I think we did one on side gigs and how to start a side hustle and focus, still do your full-time job that pays the bills while you sort of get this up and running. So then when this is ready to go, maybe you stop, what you're doing full-time so that you can focus on, make your side hustle your way to make a living. So it's inspirational. I think a lot of people will really like that, because, you went from insurance to a CBD business, which is, they're different.
Very different. And I always had, one idea I always wanted to pursue was something more tangible, like whether it's making whatever furniture or, food products, or just something tangible. And, so going from professional services as a benefits consultant to, having all these, great products around me, like where people can actually try and rub it on or consume it, and then get the feedback like, man, you really helped me sleep, or you really helped me with the post-workout recovery, or you helped me, play 36 holes for 2 days straight, so that means a lot more to me these days.
I'm curious what the conversation was like though with your wife, as far as, hey honey, I want to leave this to go do this. Like she probably, I'm sure you guys obviously talked about it while you were thinking about it, and maybe after the dinner party on the ride home that night, you were like, hey, Tom and I had this great conversation. Was she like, what? Or like, how does that work?
Yeah, it was a follow-up of, probably several conversations over the course of months, but you're right. I mean, but she was very supportive from day one. I mean, in fact, she helped come up with the name. We had another name. It was taken enough where it would have been a fight to keep it. And she kind of came up, well, why don't you just call it Remedy? So she was very supportive from day one. And, she's like, well, as long as we're going to be okay financially, right? Like, we don't want to have to sell the house that we just, rebuilt and a great neighborhood that we're in. And so I think as long as she knew the bases were covered, she saw the passion that I had. She saw the pain I was in and how it helped. So she became a big fan, and has even used it herself for stress. She took a big test for to be a licensed professional counselor. She had hurt her Achilles tendon. You know, she put some of the topical on the Achilles, and that helped her. So I think she's happy I'm doing this, as long as we keep going in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And if she's, using the products and she's a believer, she'll, she's a good marketer too. So
yeah, well, that you can't help but run into some of the product and marketing around the house. I mean, you know how it becomes, your life, and there's stuff everywhere. So
oh, I remember coming to your house that time, and you had in your kitchen table, you had just boxes of remedy stuff. So
yeah. I more reason to lock the doors these days. My friends are starting to catch on, like, hey, if I just pop into Chris's garage, I can probably get something now.
I can grab some samples.
So I'm curious, of the different products that you have, what do each do? Is the effect they have different? Are there ones that you recommend for certain things and certain issues? So, sort of walk us through your lineup.
Yeah, great time to do that. And we have 5 products. I'll just start from the top here. So the drop is, and I've got them kind of lined up here in front of me. So the drop is the sublingual tincture, right? So you would shake it up and put a dropper or 2 under your tongue and hold it for a minute, swish it around and swallow, because that's going to get absorbed into your body through your mucous membrane. So this is a very popular type of product that most brands have, but it is effective in 10 or 15 minutes. And ours just tastes great. I mean, it's got a cinnamon. We use natural cinnamon and orange oils, which have their own benefits of mood, digestion, energy. And then we use MCT oil, which is also a great source of energy and promotes weight loss. And so it's a great way to start your day. It may not replace your coffee, but I'll get to that. So we got the drop, which is our tincture. I'll move on to the shot, since I mentioned coffee supplement or replacement. So in the morning, I'll do that. I'll do the drop to get into my system, but then I have been, 1 or 2 cups of coffee in the morning, maybe a couple more in the afternoon. And then I started taking the shot, and the shot has about 1 cup of coffee as far as caffeine. But what it also has is 20 milligrams of CBD, which is a nice, it's a good amount to get into your system to give you that kind of focused, if you want to be in the zone, right? If you're going to go work out, like I swim a mile a couple times a week, and swimming can be pretty monotonous, but if you want to get that runner's high, quickly and stay in that zone, this is a great way of doing it. So it's also cinnamon flavored. We use agave nectar as a sweetener, so it's a very clean label. There's no cane sugar or stevia in it, and it also has B12 and guarana, for also to help with
energy,
suppress your appetite. So a lot of times I can do the tincture and the shot, and then the bar, and be good till lunch. Now the bar is a protein bar, very clean label. We use hemp protein in it, but not oil, not CBD oil or anything.
Okay. So
the FDA won't let me, put CBD in a product like this.
Interesting.
Nor could I sell this on Amazon like we do today, and a lot of grocery stores don't want the ingestibles to have CBD just yet.
Why is that?
So we've got our one non-CBD product, which is the bar. And then we have gel caps. So instead of popping Advil, if you just, need something to travel with. But this is also good at night. It's a slower release, just like any other capsule is going to be. And these have 25 milligrams of CBD in it. They're loaded with curcumin, right? The whole idea of CBD is, maybe I should have mentioned this earlier, is you have this cannabinoid system in your body with all these receptors that control pain and anxiety. So what CBD does, and again, I'll use CBD kind of broadly or loosely because it's 100+ cannabinoids in the hemp plant. So you get this entourage effect of all these great natural remedies, that, no pun intended, natural remedies in the hemp plant that you extract, and they attach themselves to those receptors throughout your body that control pain and anxiety. So if you can lower pain or inflammation and anxiety, you're probably going to sleep better. So and there's no melatonin or anything. Nothing's going to cause you brain fog in the morning. So if you've taken sleep aids before, sometimes you wake up and it's hard to shake it.
Right.
You won't have that problem with this. So those are the gel caps.
So,
and then,
Chris, can I interrupt you for 1 second? So,
yeah.
in the gel cap, you've got 25 megs of CBD, and you said curcumin is also in there.
Yep.
Okay. And then I think Christian wanted to ask you before about the bar, like why?
Yeah. So why is it that they don't want ingestible CBD on the market? Like you had mentioned, Amazon wouldn't allow you to sell it.
So you know what? I think the bigger companies and platforms and grocery stores are still waiting for the government to really bifurcate the whole industry as far as, again, hemp versus marijuana. So sometimes they group them together, and it's some banks treat CBD businesses like marijuana businesses, and it's just crazy. But I think it's just the legal teams of the bigger companies are like, you know what? It's not going to hurt us not to offer it right now. Let's just wait for the government to provide more clarity and bifurcate this industry, and CBD products up to a certain dosage amount might be allowed, like over the counter, and others might be more prescription based. So I think for them, and especially the FDA, won't even approve anything right now. So you have to, we made the bar, we were playing around with the bar in the beginning with a commercial bakery. And I felt it was a great delivery system because it had like the kind of fatty acids and to get the CBD delivered, processed through your digestive system and then absorbed into your body using, soy protein, hemp protein, and then the CBD. And I felt great. I thought it was a great delivery vehicle of the CBD into my system. But, we'll just flip that switch when the time is right.
Okay.
One last product to talk about, and probably our kind of probably best selling and as far as great feedback. I mean, people love the rub. I get a lot of great feedback on our products, but I think that the rub and the shot, because the shot's a pretty unique product offering, especially for CBD products, and to have it taste great. And it could be, first thing in the morning, it could be that afternoon lull, it could be before a big, conference call or meeting, or if you're going to pitch someone. But the rub is your topical. So this is a 1 ounce jar with 1,000 milligrams, and it's a pretty, it's a solid amount of CBD in a 1 ounce jar. So you might see jars like this that sell for the same amount, $30. They only have half the CBD in there. So we're very thoughtful about our packaging and dosage amounts. But the rub is a topical. You rub this, I rubbed it on my lower back. So I tweaked my back on Friday after driving to Boston Thursday, coming back early Friday, and then going to play golf Friday afternoon. So again, very active. Your body's gonna respond sometimes, and say, wait a minute, I'm a little tight. So I've been applying this all weekend and feel a lot better.
When
those are the 5 products, all made in the USA, and they can all be found on our e-commerce platform, our website, myremedyproducts.com. So I'd be remiss not to mention the website, right?
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Made in USA, love that.
I know. So, Chris, I have a question about the rub. So, when you put it on your lower back area because of sitting and driving and golfing, do you feel relief right away, or you have to use, how do you?
And there's a lot of people ask, like, well, do you have a roll-on, right? And I've tried roll-ons, and I found that, with the roll-on, I would roll it on my back or neck or somewhere, and then I would feel the need to rub it in to just like get it better absorbed, right?
Mhm.
Like I didn't want to just leave it on the surface. I want
Right.
to really get it absorbed.
Blend it.
So I was pretty sold on using some kind of, salve or topical, but I also didn't want it too oily. I didn't want it to smell bad. I didn't want it to, or be too cakey, right? So there's that
Right.
balance. And I just find that, yeah, when something's hurting, I rub it on, and I would say, 5 to 10 minutes, you're feeling some relief, and the best thing is when you don't think about that tight area of your body anymore for the next 3 or 4 hours, that's what you want. You want to be able to forget about it and get on with your day.
Does it have a scent to it, or does it have a feel? Like, does it get warm or?
Yeah. So, depending if I put it on my lower back and I put a shirt on and tuck the shirt in, like you'll feel a little bit of warmth there.
Okay.
It's got a very mild, cool alpine scent.
Okay.
So it's not strong. It's not like you covered yourself with Bengay or anything.
That's what we know, because people that are listening are like, does it smell? Are people going to walk by?
No, you can be very sneaky about it for sure. But no, and it gets absorbed very well. There's a lot of the rub. I mean, it has castor oil, menthol,
Okay.
green tea leaf, white willow bark, rosemary essential oil. So they're, again, working with our manufacturers, and we use 4 different manufacturers for the 5 products, and we had to find the ones that would start working with a startup, but also we wanted to own our formulas or the right to purchase the formulas. So to find people that would collaborate with us was difficult, but we found them, and they've all been great as far as developing these products and really getting it to, listen, if I'm not crazy about it, if I don't use it. I mean, I took the tincture, the drop this morning. I had a energy shot, and I applied the rub today. I'll probably take the gel caps tonight. I'll take 2. I'm 205 pounds, so 2 gel caps at 25 each, so a total of 50 milligrams is a good dose.
Okay.
For me. And then the bars with me, if I'm on the go and don't want to stop for a Chick-fil-A sandwich, I'll just have a bar and a banana or apple instead.
What so if you take 2 gel caps at night, because clients might be interested in those for rest, would a woman's dose be 1, or start with 1 and then?
Exactly. I would start with 1 and see how you do. And again, take into like, I'm sure you have these conversations like, well, if you had late afternoon caffeine and then 2 glasses of wine from, at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and then take 1 gel cap, you may not feel great in the morning, but, try to isolate, and not have caffeine or alcohol,
Right.
Sleep, and then try to replicate that same scenario while taking the cap at night and see if you just sleep a little deeper or you just wake up feeling a little more rested. Well, I mean, there are a lot of factors with sleep, so it's hard to really nail it down, but again, the premise of reducing anxiety and inflammation, you're just going to sleep a little better.
Oh, definitely. And who doesn't have that anxiety?
In regards to injuries, so I mean, we both have clients who get injured from time to time. Me having mainly men over 40, backs, knees, necks, shoulders. Is this something you recommend? Let's say I actually had a guy who was playing in an adult football league 2 days ago and pulled his calf. So is this something you'd recommend putting on immediately? Would you recommend letting it heal a little bit and then rub it on? Have you come across those scenarios with any of your customers before?
Yeah. So again, with if it's a herniated disc, you need to see a doctor and explore. Okay, like I had cortisone shots, and then a year or 2 later, I had the platelet-rich plasma injections, so the PRP, and that that really helped. I mean, so if you have a torn rotator cuff or a pinched nerve or something a little more structurally wrong, yes, you're going to need to seek help and figure out, okay, will a shot do it, or surgery, or whatever. But if it's tendonitis flaring up, muscle soreness, you sleep on your neck the wrong way, and you're like this in the morning, and you're like, damn, how am I going to get through the day? ice is always good, right? Ice, take a shower, dry off, apply the rub, and get on with your day. Like that should help.
And then another question that some of the parents are going to want to know is this safe for kids?
Yeah, so I like to experiment on my own family. So
On your own kids. Come on, boys, let's go.
That's a good scientist right there.
I listen, it's not, I would say go much slower with children. But I have teenage boys, they're over 150 pounds. One has a little bit of anxiety, but he also, he's been growing so much like the last couple of years. So during basketball season, for instance, he would take the energy shot before practice or games.
That's good.
And again, it's only 20 milligrams of CBD. Again, it's broad spectrum, so no trace amounts of THC. I would just say, be cautious about it. Start really with low amounts. He might take one gel cap at night to help him with the anxiety and sleep a little better and get the mind to shut off. But the rub, as a topical,
yeah,
he has used that on sore calf muscles and stuff like that before. So no doctor out there is going to say this is great for kids, but it's worth the conversation. Because not too many of them are going to say you really shouldn't do that, right? So it's, you're not going to find, we're in this first, second, maybe third inning of this industry, and there just hasn't been enough studies yet. So I would just caution people to have a conversation with their healthcare providers, but just be reasonable and apply some common sense.
Yeah. And then, okay, another question. So being with your mention of being reasonable, this is something that, we're in America and more is always better, right?
Yeah.
So I've had clients who I recommend products to, maybe it was ZMA or something like that, or just straight magnesium. And a lot of people think, all right, well, if a little bit's good, then more is better. And well, if a little more is better, then that means a lot more is better.
Right.
And I've had clients who, of course, they didn't tell me, but they're like, oh, I had to go to the emergency room. I used too much magnesium. I'm like, you gotta ease. So with this, with these products, is there too much, and how much would you say is too much for your average adult?
Yeah, I don't think I think it's really hard to overdo it with CBD. I don't know if the other, like the shot, for instance, has some caffeine in it. So I don't know if you want, again, it's like a cup of coffee of caffeine. So I wouldn't do 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. I think that's a little too much. But being that we've got very natural plant-based ingredients in our products, it's hard for me to sit here and be too concerned about people overdoing it. Like the rub,
Sure.
are you gonna rub down your whole body, and overdo it? I don't think so, and nor I don't think people want to rub down their whole body with this stuff. But again, common sense and just take it slow. I do get asked do you build up tolerance, right? So do you build up a tolerance so where a year ago, if I was taking 1 gel cap and then I went to 2, now I do have to go to 3 or 4.
Right.
Again, I haven't seen that with myself or even people with feedback that have been using it for a while. But we're still early, right? We're still early in this game, but there's nothing addictive about this stuff. Doctors have come out, with that. There's no stories about people become addictive or having to be a gateway drug to something else.
Yeah.
So I think if people are looking for, and people are looking for healthier alternatives to control pain and anxiety, why not, right? Why not try something that is, proven, and there's enough of anecdotal evidence and even supporting evidence. We're working on a white paper now with some doctors, and it's evolving. It's getting more sophisticated and more backed by the medical community more and more every day.
Awesome.
So now, other than going to the website, which was myremedyproducts.com, is there other ways that do you sell them in any vitamin shop or somewhere, or no, everything's going right straight through your website?
No, we're starting to get onto more and more shelves. So some local medical spas, physical therapy offices, natural grocery stores. And there's a store locator on our website. So
Okay.
I think we're in maybe 50 or 60 different types of settings, retail settings where you can find it. Country clubs, in the pro shops.
That's
As
good.
an avid golfer, I wanted to help my fellow
Yeah.
golfers out. Yeah, and then we're going more regional and national with convenience stores and transportation hubs and bigger chains. Yeah.
How are you
Are-
reaching?
Are
Sorry,
you guys on social media?
Sorry.
Are you guys on social media, Instagram, Facebook?
Yep. Check it out. We actually, I give a lot of kudos to my partner Tom. He controls that. But I think we have over 70,000 followers on Instagram. So we built up, again, through that pandemic, we couldn't be in front of people. So we try to find as many ways of interacting with people interested in CBD. So we put out, I think, some great content. We're working with a PR firm to get placements. We were in Golf Vacation Magazine. We're on Forbes.com, all in the last few months. So we're starting to get the following and some traction in the marketplace finally, which is great.
Yep, I just found you. My Remedy Products.
There you go.
I just followed you, so now you have another follower.
All right, 70,001.
That's right. every follower counts. So that's great. So how do you market? Like, because Christian and I both have clients all over the U.S. So it'll be great because when people hear this and they want to purchase, they'll just go right to the website.
Yep, we ship to 50 states. Again, on a national basis, CBD is legal. Some states have like some weird laws. I mean, but they're few and far between. I would just say, check out the website, reach out to us if you have any questions. But we have a third-party logistics partner that has a warehouse and gets shipped out very quickly. And give us a try. Give us a try and give us feedback. That's the great thing is when people, better or worse, give me feedback so that we know what's working for people and what's not.
Definitely.
That's great.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I mean, Christian, do you have other questions? Or I think that's great. I think this is going to be really informative because I know a lot of my clients will ask me about CBD because Christian, like he mentioned, he works with men over 40. I work with women over 40. And a large part of my crew are over 50 women, but everyone talks about not being able to sleep. So having the gel caps is definitely something great that I can use with that demographic.
Yeah. And
yeah, I've had people like, what's a good meal replacement? What's a good coffee alternative? For clients, that are drinking 4, 5, 6, 7 cups of coffee a day. I get some, listen, socially and sipping on a cup of coffee with friends and catching up, I'm not against that at all, and I've done it. But just for that quick habit of, routine in the morning, try something that maybe is a little healthier and then even easier if you have to get in your car and drive. Like I haven't had to stop at a Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks in a while. So, from time and money, what does that save me,
Those lattes are getting expensive.
They are, right? So like, the shot retails for $4.99. That's a bargain these days.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, what's great is, so many people, especially over the last 2 years, might even be a little bit more than 2 now, have turned to wine. And then when it comes to pain, it's ibuprofen, right? And then it's, like you said, anxiety. So many people are suffering from anxiety from young to older. Mm-hmm. And I think, your products and the CBD industry has provided an outlet for people to not, give themselves kidney issues and create, hey, I can fall asleep with some wine and then the latter part of my sleep is messed up. Or melatonin, like you said, the fog that people get in the morning, it's like, gets me to sleep well, but I can't stay asleep. And I've got friends who have used CBD products, not necessarily this brand, although I'm going to tell them about it now.
Thank you.
And they've had great things to say. They're like, it helps me sleep and I don't have the issues with melatonin or wine. And hey, I rub this on my knee and I don't have to pump myself with extra strength ibuprofen 3 times a day.
Right.
Yeah, listen, we're not miracle makers, but if you can introduce new things to your regimen or have in your cabinet for when needed, and it's a healthier plant-based solution, we're excited for people to try it. Again, we want to be our goal is to be the singular name in plant-based performance and recovery. Very simple.
Excellent. All right. So myremedyproducts.com, and on Instagram, it's myremedyproducts. So those are two ways that people can reach if they're not local to where we are, be able to have access to the products. So thanks, Chris. I learned a lot today. I mean, this is really good because I know you and I have had conversations here and there, but this is really good to get, a lot of good information on on the products and how to utilize them with people.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. Christian, great chatting with you as well. And if I can be of any help ever, just let me know.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
All right. You have a great day. Thanks.